Fun and games yesterday on the channel with my updated October international break EFL Championship 1 to 24 predictions. We are going to follow that up today with the bookies prediction. We're going to see what the markets are saying about how the championship is going to finish. Normal housekeeping here. We are looking at the odds to win the title, which then gives us a cascade down of teams. And we got a fair bit of data now because we did this pre-season in June the 10th. Then on the eve of the new season on August the 6th, in the international break in September, and we're doing it once again. So I'm going to be able to give you 4 numbers there. I'll be able to give you an average and where the team is in the table. Now, get involved in the comments. I suppose me trying, as usual, to tell football fans not to be emotional about what they hear in this video is like telling the sky not to be blue. But remember, this is not even my opinion today. This is just the market. And the market actually has skin in the game. It's bookies trying to make money and punters trying to take money off the bookies, which is more difficult than just saying your team is going to finish 15 places higher than they are right now. That said, give me your thoughts. Going to go through all 24 teams, bottom up, starting with, surprise, surprise, Plymouth Argyle, where the market clearly hasn't caught up with Plymouth's good form. It's been fairly consistent. Look, 23rd, 23rd, 22nd, 22nd, now averaging out 22.5. But Plymouth are 14th in the table. So if you think they're going to stay around that, the market hasn't caught up, well, you know what to do, but please do it responsibly. I do always think with Plymouth, there's a bit of a Wayne Rooney derangement syndrome, star fame factor that causes probably more bets than if they didn't have quite such a big name as a manager. So maybe that skews the data a little bit. But Plymouth, bottom, 24th, according to the market. In 23rd, Cardiff, and again, this is fairly consistent, isn't it? Look, 21st, 20th. Obviously, since then, Errol Balut has been sacked. 22nd, now averaging out at 20.75. Cardiff are bottom of the table. Normally, more powerful than that, although there has been a fair few sort of bottom 6 finishes, hasn't there? And failed resets down at Cardiff. So we shall see what happens when a new manager comes in. But the market thinks this ends in relegation. In 22nd, the final bottom 3 side, according to the bookies and the market, is Pompey. Look, the average gets massively skewed there. You can see June 9th and then August 14th. You do get that with promoted League One teams often, where people taking a long-term view are very, very sweet on them. And frankly, the bookmakers don't quite know where to place them. So they tend to go just outside the chasing pack. Reality has maybe bitten there in the real world, where Pompey are 23rd, and you can see the last 2 videos we've done have been 23rd and 22nd according to the market, which is predicting Pompey to be relegated. And it's predicting Oxford to not be relegated, although this all gets very, very tight. Just to explain what I do with this, if we do get the same odds, which you do tend to group them, the bookies at the bottom, I've then taken the average of the season to rank these sides, okay? So it is improving for Oxford, though, according to the market. 23rd, 24th, 24th, 20th. On average, they go down, but right now we've got them 21st in the list. But Oxford are 10th in the division. So again, if you believe Oxford are going to stay around there is money to be made because the market thinks there's going to be a pretty big slowdown. But just by my jiggery pokery, Oxford are surviving in this list. In 20th, one of the big disappointments so far this season has been QPR, where the market had them as high as 12th there in August, but it's been a big drop off. The form has been poor. The average is 15th over the 4 videos we've done, but they're in 20th for October. They are even lower than that in the relegation places, in 22nd in the table. Are we going to get an upturn for QPR back towards that 12th, 13th that we were having? Or are things going to stay as they are at the moment? I know what the QPR fans would hope. 19th, we've got Preston, and this all adds up with Preston being exactly where they are right now. They're 19th in the table. October. Right now, the market says they're going to be 17th. That's my average coming out at 19th. It's all been fairly sort of bottom sixy by the look of it, but the market from where they are right now has them going up a couple of places, but still 17th tops, and they average out in this list at 19th. And Derby in 18th place, again, very much like Portsmouth, big club coming up from League One. We had that 9th, obviously joint with Portsmouth in that position, drops to 18th to 21st, but a little surge since we last did this, up to 17th today, averages out to pop them in 18th for today's video. Average position across the season, 16.25. But Derby are in 12th in the league. And I've got lots of comments from Derby fans telling me that, don't worry, Ben, the away games have been really hard. So that's going to fix itself. And they will end up in the middle of the table. If they do, money to be made, because the market's got them, by my jiggery pokery, in 18th right now. And in 17th, Stoke City. Again, the market, the bookies hedged their bets, didn't they, pre-season, 9th and 10th. Optimism there. Look, went up to 8th in September, but huge drop-off, obviously, after the sacking of Steven Schumacher, and a new manager, again, has got to go in and do it at Stoke. So that number is swelled, the average there at 11th, but they come out right now at 17th place, which is where they are in the table. Millwall, 16th in my rankings here today. The October number there is 15th, but that's knocked down a little bit there by 17th, 18th, 19th in the past. Just drags them down into the 16th spot overall. And they are 18th in the table, so that would be a couple of places up from where they are now. 15th place, have I got that number right? Yeah, I have, good. Data incorrect there, is Sheffield Wednesday. And despite all the hype, the market's been fairly consistent. It did bump up just before the season to 11th, but right now is 15th, as in the October number there. And they are 15th in the table. So it's all kind of averaging out, even though we thought we might see Sheffield Wednesday quite a bit higher up than that this season, with all the hype around the excellent Danny Roll in the dugout. In 14th are Swansea, who are actually 11th in the table right now, and 11th in the bookies table as of right now. Obviously, my averages are pulled down by June, August and September with 17ths and 15ths and whatnot. I said on my predictions video yesterday, where it's just my opinion, no market data on that, they're pretty impressive what Swansea have done in the last month or so. So maybe that number will rise up to where they are in the league table, as in 11th as we speak. Bristol City come out in 13th in the list here, although it is tied up with Swansea, same odds, 11th, but you can see they're dragged down a little bit. I was notoriously optimistic. I said 7th at the start of the season, but I've had to revise that. They are currently 16th in the actual league table and 13th in our list today. Into the top half now, where we have Watford, where, look, there was a massive backing against Watford in between pre-season in June and just before a ball was kicked in August. They dropped all the way to 20th. Tom Cleverley has proved most of us wrong with a pretty decent managerial performance. They are 6th in the current table. They average out at 13th in my rankings, and the bookies right now have got them finishing 11th. So that comes out at 12th if you're still following my rather convoluted formula here. Into 11th is, again, another huge disappointment here, because Luton are 21st in the table. The bookies right now are saying more like 11th. Look at the average, though. There's 2/3 in there. and it averages out at 6.75. So there's a big idea that Luton are underperforming massively from everyone's expectations, and they will ultimately be 10 places higher than they are right now. Into the top 10, and there be Hull City, who lie 13th in the table currently. It's flitted about, and let's be honest, we're all flitted about on Hull. We never quite knew what to expect with the new manager and the squad churn and the change from last season. Look, it's gone 9, 13, 16 and back to 9th now, which by my formula just comes in at 10th. Average is just slightly below that, and the current league position is slightly below that also with 13th. But there's an idea that Hull are going to be a few places higher than they are right now. In 9th, the market says Coventry City, and again, it's a little bit under where I had them across the board. I think I had 4th from the start of the season. I've just backed down after a quite a long bad start, which you can see on the now there has them 20th in the actual championship table. The market says 9th. The average is 7th. So we are expecting a rise from Coventry, but maybe below expectations that thought they would be back around that playoff finish that they got season before last. Top 8. Take a bow, Blackburn, because look at this for a rise in market prices. 17th, 15th, 9th, 8th across the past few months. And 8th right now in the betting is 8th where they are in the table. So the market has woken up that Blackburn are not going to struggle as much as we thought they would. It might drop off a little bit in my humble opinion. That's me projecting that on there. But certainly where the money's gone is that Blackburn have been better than we expected, and they're expected to finish right where they are on the table now in 8th. And same thing for Norwich, who are currently 7th in the table, and the market has them finishing 7th. There was a little drop-off, wasn't there, where people weren't sure. It went 7th, 8th, into 11th after a slightly ropey start by Norwich, but been good in the past month, and it's no surprise to see that coming back to 7th, where they are in the table. We all know what's going to happen if we're presented with more evidence about Norwich that's similar than it was in the last month, where they've been very decent. So, yeah, keep your eyes on that. That number might go up. Into the top 6, where we've got West Brom. The bookies say 6th. They're currently 4th in the table. That's drifting a little bit. Look, 5th, 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 6th, okay, which is obviously below where they are. So there's a feeling from the market that they're going to be in the top 6, but not quite where they are in the top 4 at the moment. We'll see how many more rabbits Carlos Corberon can pull from that vast championship hat of his. Top 5, Burnley. Interesting. The market doesn't like Burnley as much as Burnley's league position at the moment. And the market doesn't like Burnley as an automatic promotion contender, does it? Look, it's gone from second, and in the past month has now dropped to 5th. Burnley are 3rd in the table. I don't know, is that expectations of other teams finishing higher than Burnley? Or, as we discussed in the predictions video yesterday, is it some nice data that doesn't maybe look viable over the long term, and Burnley might just drop off a couple of places? The market says so. It's got them 5th. And in 4th, Sunderland. I think I was far stiffer on Sunderland. I think I said like 15th or something to begin with. It's been way, way better than that. And Sunderland currently are top of the championship, although the bookies aren't having them winning the division or indeed being in automatic promotion, but they are having them in the top 4. It's hard to ignore them at the moment at the top of the table. And look, it's gone 9th, 8th, 4th, 4th. So pretty consistent for Sunderland over the past month or so. And can they keep it up and get themselves into that automatic promotion conversation? They're in the automatic promotion conversation in the real world, but not with the bookies forecast just yet. Top 3, Sheffield United, who have gone 5th to 7th, bit of a drift pre-season, then into the top 6, and now up to 3rd, completely understandably because they're unbeaten and they're doing really well. We've said they're top of the real league table because of the points deduction. They would be top. They've got the best points per game in the division, but they're not above Sunderland at the top of the table. They are in 2nd place, and the bookies have them one lower in 3rd. I know it's -1, but it's a big -1 when you go from second to third in the Championship, because we all know the implications of that. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is probably your biggest shocker on the whole list. The market loves Middlesbrough. Why? Well, I'll tell you why in a minute. But look, third, fourth, third, second. And Middlesbrough are 9th in the table. So the average is third. But the market and the bookies are suggesting that Middlesbrough are going to get the second automatic promotion spot. Look, there is a sense in the Championship that the door is open and we don't have obvious contenders, apart from maybe the one we're about to speak about. But it's all on the data for Middlesbrough, where there are lots of underlying numbers that say if they start performing to those numbers and, you know, the goals start going in against the chances that are being created and the supposed control and dominance that they're having in games, which isn't quite translating into results yet. If that does start translating into results, then we will get a winning run from Middlesbrough. And look, I guess there's a bit of a sense also in terms of where the money's being spent. Everybody wants to get the one that's not there now that is going to be there, because that's where the value is. So maybe there's a sense that Borough have been backed in through expectations. But the numbers is the numbers, and the bookies in the market have Borough in second. And very predictably, Leeds in first. Look at that, clean sweep. First. Average first for each of the videos we've done. Leeds have been favourites for all of them. Yes, there is a sense that it's a big club with a big fan base that's probably backed Leeds in to that position. But skin in the game. Again, I always say this, it's very easy for someone to come and tell me, oh, my team's going to finish first in the league. But if the bookies are prepared to place them there and the punters are putting the money on at that position, then people have got skin in the game on Leeds finishing first. They're 5th in the table. I discussed this in my predictions video yesterday, where there are, well, let's just say there's still as much information to say they're viable champions as there is, or rather there's more of that than there is information to say, oh, you know, they're going to be stuck in 5th place. There's not going to be a challenge. It's almost like 5th is looking a slight false position at the moment. And if a few misdemeanors that had happened in a few games hadn't happened, maybe Leeds would be there right now. But they're not. But the market thinks they are going to be. There you go. There is your full list with Leeds and Borough going up automatically. It would be Sheffield United, West Brom and Sunderland, Burnley in the playoffs, with Norwich and Blackburn just missing out. Coventry and Luton, pre-season lovies, also nowhere near that top 6. Relegated would be Plymouth, Cardiff and Pompey, with Oxford and QPR just surviving. What I have also done is I've given you the data here of who the market expects to move the most from where they are in the table right now. So, supposed value, Coventry and Luton are expected to move up the most places from where they are now. I think that's fairly self-explanatory. High expectations, poor starts from the playoff finalists a couple of years ago. What would that be? 22, 23? Have I got the right number? I always get the years blooming wrong, don't I, when I'm talking about seasons. Borough we've mentioned, and Leeds, that's the top 2. So the market's got them moving up a few places, and there it's negligible, 3 places or less for, or few, for Hull, Bristol City, Millwall, QPR, Pompey, Cardiff. The money says Norwich, Blackburn, Sheffield Wednesday, Stoke and Preston are going to finish exactly where they are right now. Again, negligible drop-offs for Sheffield United, Burnley, West Brom, Sunderland and Swansea. Although, yes, in Sunderland and Sheffield United's cases, those drop-offs would take them from automatic promotion, where they're positioned right now, to not automatic promotion. And the market says the biggest drop-offs will be for Watford and Derby, expected to drop 6 from where they are now, but to be safe, and for Plymouth and Oxford, who are currently probably exceeding expectations, to drop into relegation. We had Oxford surviving, didn't we? Sorry, So Oxford to drop to just outside the relegation zone, and Plymouth to drop all the way to the bottom of the table. Get involved in the comments. Again, please don't be emotional. I know it will fall on deaf ears, most of that. It's just data collected. So look, if you're going to be emotional, don't have a pop at me. I'm just presenting the data here. This is not my opinion. Go and do that on the 1 to 24 video from yesterday. And we will get that all linked up here. We'll link that one yesterday, and we'll link the... actually, let's give you the first bookies odds video from way back in June as an interesting compendium. Get involved in the comments as we spend our international break prognosticating how this championship is going to finish.